Okay, so in the first option, it is 2 plus 7, which is 9, 9 plus 6, which is 15. 15 is not completely divisible by 9, which means first option is not the right option. Now see the second one, 6 plus 4, 10, 10 plus 9, 19 is not divisible by 9, which means option 2 is also not right. Now go to option 3. 4 plus 3 is 7, 7 plus 2 is 9, 9 is completely divisible by 9, which means your answer is option C. Got it? So rather than solving with pen and paper, without using pen and paper, you can find the answer for this question. Is the first question clear to all? Any doubts for the first question? Guys, if you have any doubts, feel free to ask to me. Okay? Am I going too fast that you're not able to understand what I'm talking? No. Okay, fine. So shall we move to the next question? Yes. So here comes our next question. In a city, there are few engineering, MBA and CA candidates. Some of four times the engineering, 3 times the MBA, and 5 times CA candidates is 3,650. Also, 3 times CA is equal to 2 times MBA, and 3 times engineering is equal to 2 times CA. In total, how many MBA candidates are there in the city? That is a question. So how will you solve this? Initially, what is given? The sum of 4 engineering plus 3 MBA and 5 times CA. That is, if you add all these numbers, four engineering plus 3 MBA plus 5 CA, it will be equal to 3650. And also, the next condition given, also 3 times CA is equal to 2 times MBA, and the next condition is 3 times engineering is equal to 2 times. This is a condition given. Now from this condition, can we write it as C will be equal to 2 by 3M? Here in the question, we are asked to find out how many MBA candidates are there. So we are converting all other, that is the engineering and CA, in terms of MBA. So C will be equal to 2 by 3M. Okay, in here it is given 3E is equal to 2C. So what will be equal to C? Or you can directly substitute 3E is equal to 2C. So it will be 3E is equal to 2C. C is 2 by 3M. So what you will be getting? 3A is equal to 4 by 3M. So what will be E? E will be equal to 4 by 9M. Which means C is equal to 2 by 3M. E will be equal to 4 by 9M. Again, use the divisibility rule of 9. See, here it is divisible. C is equal to 2 by 3M, which means M will be divisible, completely divisible by 3. And here also M will be completely divisible by 9. In this case, you can use the divisibility rule of 9. Check using the divisibility rule. 2 plus 0 plus 0, that is 2. 2 is not divisible by 9, so this is not your answer. Here 3 plus 0 plus 0. Again, this is not your answer. Now, 4 plus 5, it is 9. 9 is completely divisible by 9, which means your answer is option C. See, normally these questions, if you substitute and solve it, it will be taking more than 1 minute anyways. So use this divisibility rule so that you will be able to solve the questions in less than 1 minute. Is that clear? So your answer is 450. Guys, if you have any doubt with the second question we have discussed, please feel free to ask me that. Sorry. You're done? So shall we move to the next question? Okay, so here comes your third question. And this is your third question. Arrange the people in increasing order of their speed. So how will you arrange it? I'll give you just 1 minute of time. Check whether you're able to solve it. Arrange the people in the increasing of order of their speeds. That is what is given. So how will you arrange according to their speeds? Here, distance and time is given. What is the formula for finding speed? Speed will be equal to distance by time. Now take 1 minute and tell me what is the answer. Any answers? Do you know how to solve this? Okay. This is what our question is. That is, speed will be equal to, we are asked to find out what is we are asked to find out the people in increasing order of their speeds. So the formula for speed is nothing but speed is equal to, speed is equal to distance by time. So the first person's speed will be equal to S is equal to 213 by 2 by 7. Next one, it will be 50 by 51. Third one, it will be 217 by 221. And fourth one, it will be 51 by 52. Okay. So if this is how the question is given, what you have to do is check what is the difference between their numerator and denominator. In first case, what is the difference between the numerator and denominator? 213 and 217. The difference is 4. In this case, 50 and 51, which means the difference is 1. Here 217 and 221, again the difference is 4, and here it is 51 by 52, again the difference is 1. So what you have to do is make all the fractions like they are having the difference between the numerator and denominator as 4. For that, what you have to do is multiply this one with 4 by 4. And again, this one also multiply by 4 and divided by 4. So what you will be getting? The first one will be 213, 2 by 7, and this one will be 200 by 201. Sorry, it will be 204. And this will be again 217 and 221. And here it will be 204 by 208. Okay, this will be the new speeds that you will be getting. Now check whether the fraction is a proper fraction or not. What is proper fraction? What do you mean by proper fraction? That is, the numerator should be less than denominator. That is proper fraction. Okay, and here the difference between the numerator and denominator is same. If this is the condition, how to find it, or which one will be the greater fraction is greater numerator? The one which is having the greater numerator will be the greater fraction. So here, which one is having the greater numerator? 217 by 221. That is having the greater numerator. Next one will be 213, 217. And next one will be 204 by 208. And next one will be 200 by 204. So this will be the order of their increasing speed. So first one, it is C, A, then it is D and B. So this will be in the order C, A, D, B. This is the order of their speeds. I mean, increasing order of their speeds. Is there any doubts, guys? If you have any doubts, feel free to ask me. Got it? How to do this? That is, speed is equal to, speed will be equal to distance by speed. Write it as it is. That is by as a fraction. Then check what is the difference between the numerator and denominator and make it a common difference in all the fractions. And then the condition is you have to check whether it is a proper fraction or not. If it is a proper fraction and if the numerator and denominator, that is the difference between the numerator and denominator for all the fraction, if it is the same, the condition is the greatest numerator will be the greatest fraction. Any doubts with the question number 3? Are you all clear? Any doubts with that? Yes. Guys, if you have any doubts, feel free to ask it. Okay, now here comes your next question. 77 factorial into 77 factorial minus 2 into 54 factorial whole cube divided by 77 factorial plus 54 factorial whole cube plus 54 factorial into 2 into 77 factorial minus 54 factorial whole cube divided by 77 factorial plus 54 factorial. You know how to find the factorials, do you? So we are asked to find the answer for this question. Don't you think it will be very difficult? How do you feel it? See guys, the easy way to solve this question is, am I audible to you? Can you see my screen? Any problem in that? The easy way to solve this question is substitute, where is yes, substitute 77 factorial as A, okay, and 54 factorial as B. So what will be our equation? A into A minus 2B the whole cube divided by A plus B the whole cube plus B into 2 into A minus B the whole cube divided by A plus B the whole cube. This is how we will be getting it, right? Now substitute A equal to 0 and B equal to 1. So what you will be getting? This entire term will be becoming 0 because you are multiplying by 0, which means the entire term will be 0. So 0 plus 1, B is 1. So 1 into 2 into A is 0, 0 minus 1. Minus 1, the whole cube is minus 1 divided by 0 plus 1, the whole cube. So 1 into minus 1 is nothing but minus 1. So you will be getting the answer minus 1. Then what you have to do is, in the options also substitute 77 factorial as A and B and again substitute it as 0 and 1. So what you will be getting? If you substitute in the first one, what you will be getting? 2 into 0 plus 1, which is equal to 2. That is the first option you will be getting. Now second option. Second option, what you will be getting? A minus B. That is 0 minus 1, which is equal to minus 1. Now option C, you will be getting 0 plus 1. The answer is 1. The last option, it will be 2 into 0 minus 1, which is equal to minus 2. So now the right answer, see whatever answer you are getting in the substituting in the equation given, the same should be got in the options. So here you will be getting minus 1, here also minus 1. So your answer will be option B. Got it? Your answer will be option B. That is, we will be substituting 77 factorial and 54 factorial as A and B. Then we are substituting A is equal to 0 and B is equal to 1. If you are substituting A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 0, that is also fine. But the thing is, you will be getting from the options, two answers are same. So again, you have to check the other possibility. So that is, first put A is equal to 0 and B is equal to 1. Now you have to check, cross-check our answer with the options answer. So whichever you are finding and matching, that will be the answer. Is it clear? Any doubts with that question? Any doubts? Got it? Now here comes your next question. There are 14 digits of a credit card number to be filled. Each of the three boxes contain continuous digits of 18 as sum. Given fourth digit is 7 and seventh digit is X. Then what is the value of X? That is what the question is. So how will we find it? There are 14 digits of a credit card number to be filled. Each of the boxes contain continuous digits of 18 as sum. For example, see, let's assume that we are having 14 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to 14. Okay. Now it is given the fourth digit is 7. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth digit it is 7. And seventh digit is X. 6, 5, 6, 7. So seventh digit is X. Now we are asked to find out what is the value of X. And it is also given each of the three boxes contain continuous digits of 18. So continuous digits means it should be like 5, 6, 7. So 5 plus 6 is 11. 11 plus 7 is 18. So that is satisfying. So you can give this to be 5, 6 and 7. So if you're taking 1, 2, 3, then 1 should be 7. Okay, 1 should be 7. So 2 will be 5 and 6. So if you take this, what is the sum of the first three? 5 plus 7 is 12. 12 plus 18. Again, if you take this 3, 5, 6, 7. Again, it is 18. Similarly, they are asking what will be the digit. So here, if it is 5, 6, 7, and again this will be 5 and 6, and this will be again 7. which means 7th position will also be 7. This is how we solve it logically. Okay. Now, if you want to solve it mathematically, what you can write is T4 plus T5 plus T6. That is, what is the sum? It will be 18, right? Same way, T5 plus T6 plus T7, it will be also 18. If RHS is equal, you can equate LHS. So what you will be getting? T4 plus T5 plus T6 will be equal to T5 plus T6 plus T7. So now T5 and T6 will be getting cancelled and you will be getting T4 is equal to T7. What is the value of T4? It is already given in the question, which is 7. So T7 also will be equal to 7. Got it? Is it clear? Is it clear, guys? Any doubts in that question? If you have any doubts, feel free to ask it. Okay. So here comes your next question. Areas of two squares are 15376 and 15876 respectively. A rectangle is constructed with the sides of two squares as its dimension. Find the area of the rectangle so formed. So this is really a easy question. You are asked to find out the area of the rectangle formed. Yes or no? So what is the formula for finding the area for rectangle? What is the area? Sorry guys, what is the formula for finding the area for rectangle? The area of two squares is given and you are asked to find the area of a rectangle. So how will you find it? What is the formula? Formula for finding the area for rectangle is length into breadth. And here the length and breadth will be the length of the side of a square and the side of the other square. So how will you solve it? How to solve it? We have to find actually. See, area of a square is a square, which means you have to find the square root of 15376 and 15876. So how will you find the square root of those numbers? Any idea, guys? This is a 5-digit number, right? So the square root of this number will be, the root of this number will be consisting of how many digits? If you're having a 5-digit number, okay, the square root of that number will be 3-digit. So here the first one is 15376 and the other one is 15876. So now we are going to divide this number as 2-digit and a 3-digit. 2-digit and a 3-digit. Okay. Now, in order for a number to be ending with 6, okay, a number multiplied by another number, and if it has to be ending with 6, what are the possibilities? See, I told you if it is a 5-digit number, the square root of the number will be 3 digits. Here also it will be 3 digits. So for a number to be ending with 6, the possibility, 4 square it is 16. So it can be 4. 4 square is 16, which is ending with the same 6. So it can be, the number may be ending with 4. Or the other possibility is 6 square. 6 square is 36, which means again it is ending with 6. So it can be 4 or 6. Okay. Now we are going to check the numbers which is having square roots or squares which is near to 153. If you take 13 or 14, 13 square, what is 13 square? It is 169. But here we are having how much? 158, which is less than 13. So if we take 12 square, what is 12 square? 144. So 144 will be less than this again. 158 will be less than 169. And if you take 12, it will be 144. So we will be taking this number which is having a square root less than 158. So in this case, which is having a square which is less than 158, it is 12. So this also will be 12 and this also will be 12, which means the numbers will be 124 and 126. So these are the possibility. So this is the side of the first square. This is the side of the second square. Okay, now we are asked to find out the area of the rectangle. Area is equal to area of rectangle will be equal to length into breadth. So first length you can take it to be 124 and the other one you can take it to be 126. Okay, so what is 124 into 126? You can write it as this is A into B. A into B you can write it as this, you can write it as 125 minus 1 and this will be 125 plus 1. So this is A minus B into A plus B. That is A plus B into A minus B. What is A plus B into A minus B? A square minus B square, which is equal to 125 square minus 1 square. What is 125 square? How will you find it? See, 125 you can write it as 5 into 5, which is 25. And the previous numbers can be found out by 12 into 13. What is 12 into 13? It will be 156. So the number will be 15625 minus 1, which is equal to 15624. This will be your answer. Are you clear with it? See, here the areas are given. So area of the square is nothing but A square. So A square will be equal to 15376. So we have to find what is A in both the cases. So since this is a 5-digit number, the square root will be having 3-digit number. The number is ending with 6, so the possibility is 4 and 6. And again, the number is 158 and 153. So we are going to check which number is having a square number which is less than 153, which is 12. So here it will be 124 and this will be 126. So we got the length of or the side of the two squares. Now we are putting it in the formula. Area of triangle is equal to length into breadth. So here it will be 124 into 126. This can be written as 125 minus 1 into 125 plus 1, which means A plus B into A minus B. That is A square minus B square. So 125 square minus 1. 125 square, how can you find it? 5 into 5. 25, that will be the last 2 digits. And the first 3 digits will be 12 into 13. 12 into 13 is 156. So the total number will be 15,625 minus 1. So the answer will be 15,624. So that will be the area of the rectangle so formed. I hope it is clear. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Yes, length into breadth. Is there any doubts with the previous question? Are you all clear? Am I going too fast that you are not able to understand me? Do you want me to go slower? No, it's fine. Okay. So shall we move to the next question? Yes. Cool, guys. So we are going to the next question. This is a question. Your college principal has invested a principal of rupees 5,000 in the OCI bank. The bank is interested to pay 18% interest per annum compounded annually. If the principal invested in the bank for 2 years, what will happen to the principal at the end of 2 years? That is a question. So how will you find the answer for this question? This is something related with CI and SI. CISI. So tell me how to solve this question, guys. Any idea? In the question, it is given the principal amount is 5,000. The principal amount is 5,000. That is, we will be representing it as P, right? P is equal to 5,000 rupees. Now, what else is given? R is given. That is 18% per annum. That will be the interest given. Now, it is given the principal invested in the bank for 2 years, which means time period, number of years it is given to be 2 years. Now, what will happen to the principal at the end of 2 years, which means you are asked to find out what is the amount that will be received by the principal at the end of 2 years? That is the question. So what is the formula for finding amount? Amount is equal to principal into 1 plus r by 100 whole raised to n. This will be the formula. We have already learned this formula in our lower classes. Okay. So now substituting in this, what you will be getting? A is equal to 5000 into 1 plus r is 18, 18 by 100 whole square. This is what. So it will be taking, see, solving this is time consuming. Am I right? If you solve this, this will be time consuming. So the easy way is you can apply the divisibility rule of 9, okay, and check what is a digital sum. So if you find what is a digital sum for 5000, 5000, the digital sum will be nothing but 5 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, which is equal to 5. And again, if you take the digital sum, what you will be getting? 1 plus 8. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9, if it is divisible by 9, what will be the remainder we will be getting? 0. See, digital sum here, if you take, I have taken 5. 5 divided by 9, what is the remainder we will be getting? It is 5. That is why I have written it 5 as it is. But here, if you take 18, 18 is 8, 8 plus 1, you will be getting 9. 9 by 9, the remainder is 0. Got it? Is that clear? So now if you substitute it here, what you'll be getting is A is equal to 5 into 1 plus 0 by 100, it is 0 whole square. So 1 square is 1. So amount will be equal to 5. Okay. That is the, now we have to check the options. In options also, you can use a method of digital sum. And if you're getting your digital sum from the options is 5, that will be your answer. Okay, now check the options. 6 plus 5 is 11, 11 plus 6 is 17, 17 plus 2 is 19, 19. That is 1 plus 9, you will be getting 1 as your digital sum. Now next one, 6 plus 7 is 13, 13 plus 6 is 19, 19 plus 2 is 21. Again, the digital sum 2 plus 1. You will be getting 3. Now third one, 6 plus 8 is 14, 14 plus 6 is 20, 22, 22, digital sum will be 4. Now 6 plus 9, 15, 15 plus 6, 21, 21 plus 2, 23, 23, digital sum 2 plus 3 is 5. Here also you are getting the amount to be 5, here also you are getting 5, which means your answer option is D. That is the amount received by the principal after 2 years will be 6962. Is it clear, guys? Do you find it very difficult? See, guys, when I'm explaining, it will be taking more than 1 minute. But if you practice, you can solve this question in less than 1 minute. Is it clear? Here we are using the divisibility rule of 9 and we are finding the digital sum and solving. So this will be an easy method rather than solving 5000 into 1 plus 18 by 100 whole square. Is it clear, guys? Any doubts in that question? Guys, am I audible? Here I can see 54 people and I cannot see any response like 54 is coming. Only few people are responding, it seems. What happened, guys? Are you all exhausted for classes? Anyway, I'll be taking just few more minutes. Okay, please. Please tolerate me for a few minutes more. Now, here comes your next question. If both 11 square and 3 cube are factors of the number a into 4 cube into 6 raised to 6 into 13 raised to 11, then what is the smallest possible value of a? This question is a very simple question. See, if both 11 square and 3 cube are factors of a number, if a number is a factor of another number, it means that that number should be divisible by the other number. That is the condition. Okay. So now it is given a into 4 cube into 6 raised to 6 into 13 power 1 is having a factor as 11 square into 11 square and 33 cube. Okay, 3 cube, which means a into 4 cube into 6 raised to 6 into 13 power 1 has to be completely divisible by 11 square into 3 cube. Okay, now what you have to think is just see whether any of these term can be expressed as 11 square. Can you represent any of the numerators as 11 square? No, it is not possible. Now see, can you represent any of the numerator values as 3 power 3? Is there any possibility? I think there is. 6 power 6 can be written as 3 into 2 whole raised to 6. Now this can be again rewritten as 3 power 6 into 2 power 6. Am I right? Now 3 power 6 can be again rewritten as 3 cube whole square. Or you can write it as 3 cube again into 3 cube. Okay. So 6 raised to 6 can be rewritten as 3 cube into 3 cube into 2 raised to 6. Now rewriting it, you will be getting a into 4 cube into 3 power 3 into 3 power 3 into 2 power 6 into 13 power 1 divided by 11 square into 3 cube. Now you can cancel out 1 3 cube. Okay. Now if the entire numerator to be divided by 11 square, what is the only possibility? A should have the value 11 square. Only then you can cancel it out. So the smallest possible value of A is 11 square, which is equal to 121. Okay. Here the idea is if 11 square into 3 cube to be a factor of the numerator, it should be completely divisible, which means it should get cut off. So in order to cut off or cancel out 11 square, you cannot express all these values in terms of 11 square. Only possibility is that A should have 11 square so that these two will be getting cancelled. So the smallest possible value of A is 11 square, which is 121. So your answer is option A. Is it clear, guys? Any doubts in that question? Any doubts? So here comes our next question. On dividing a number by 9, the remainder is 8. The quotient so obtained when divided by 11 leaves a remainder 9. The new quotient obtained when divided by 13 leaves a remainder 8. Find the remainder when a number is divided by 1287. Normally, we will be doing this as like number is equal to dividend into quotient plus remainder, all those ways. Okay, but there is a shortcut for this question. Okay, so what we have to do is the first thing is a number on dividing a number by 9. If you're dividing by 9, we will be getting the remainder 8. Now, again the quotient so obtained when divided by 11. Again, if it is divided by 11, we will be getting the remainder 9. Now, the new quotient obtained when divided by 13. Again, if you're dividing by 13, you will be getting the remainder. Okay, if this is the case, find the remainder when the number is divided by 1287. So leave this statement. Okay, this is not going to do anything with the method of solving it. Okay, so this is the only required thing. Now what you have to do is, I'm telling this is a shortcut. Okay, so don't ask me why did you do that. This is how we do shortcut for this question. So here, according to the question, on dividing number by 9, you will be getting the remainder 8. And again, when you're dividing by 11, you will be getting 9 as a remainder. Again, when you're dividing by 13, you will be getting 8 as a remainder. So what is? Eliminate this 30. Eliminate this 13. Okay. Now what you have to do is multiply 8 into 11. Multiply 8 into 11. Now add this number to this. When you're multiplying 8 into 11, you will be getting 88. Okay. Next step is 88 plus 9. What is 88 plus 9? It will be 97. So 97, again you multiply like this. 97 into 9. 97 into 9, you will be getting 873. Now again add it. 873 plus 8. 873 plus 8 is 881. So your answer is 881. So whenever you're getting a question like this, you can solve it in this way. Got it? Is it clear, guys? This is how we will be solving. Normally, what you'll do is you will be taking the number to be the dividend or into quotient plus remainder, and you will be substituting and substituting and substituting. Rather than you can solve it in this shortcut. Got it? Is it clear, guys? Okay. So now here comes your next question. What will be the remainder when 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to the power 24 is divisible by 6, 5, 6, 1? This is the question. So how will we solve this question? I think you will be getting a huge number of questions like this if we learn the topic numbers. And numbers is a very interesting topic where you will be able to solve big equations or calculations like this. So how will you find the answer for this? What will be the remainder when 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to the power 24 is divisible by 6, 5, 6, 9. Sorry, 6, 5, 6, 1. So initially, let's check. Okay. Initially, 6, 5, 6, 1. 6, 5, 6, 1. If you are dividing it by, this number is ending with 1. So which are the powers which are ending with 1? Only possibility is 9. So divided by 9. So if you're dividing it by 9, what you'll be getting? It will be 7 to 9. Again divided by 9, you will be getting 81. Again by 9, you will be getting 9. What it means? 6, 5, 6, 1 is nothing but 9 power 4. 9 power 4 is 6, 5, 6, 1. Okay. So this number is divisible by 9. Sure. Now we are checking whether this number is divisible by 9 or not. See, how will you find it? Find the digital sum. 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 plus 15, 21, 28, 36, 45. That is from 1 to 9, the sum is 45. Again here it is 45, which means it will be, the total sum will be 90. So this number, the given number can be expressed in terms of 9x. The entire number is divisible by 9. The entire number, we will be getting the digital sum as 90, which means this number is a multiple of 9. So we are writing it as 9x. Okay. And this number, we are asked to find whether this number is divisible by 6561. So that is a power of 9 again. 9 power 4. 9 power 4 is 6561, which means this is also a number divisible by 4 and divisible by 9, and this is also divisible by 9. So a multiple of 9 again divided by a multiple of 9, the remainder will be always equal to 0. Are you getting me? See, anyway, 9 power 4 is 6561, but here the value will be greater. So if you are dividing this number with 9 power 4, what you will be getting? The remainder will be 0. You will be getting some quotient, but your remainder will be 0, because both these numbers are a multiple of 9. Is that clear? We are asked to find out the remainder, so the remainder will be 0. If there is any doubts, you can ask me. If there is any doubts regarding the previous question, you can ask me. Guys, any doubts? Any? Guys, I want a response. Now, shall we move to the next question? So here is your next question. Find the last digit of 135647 to the power 34. How will you find it? Find the last digit. How will you find the last digit of this number? You need not find the entire digit, but only the last digit. How will you find it? So in order to that, you have to learn what is a power cycle. All these power cycles will be there in the topic numbers. If you learn that, that will be easy. Okay. So here the power cycle of, I'll tell you how to solve this problem alone. Okay. Because now I don't have time to reveal all the secrets behind the topic numbers. But now I'll be telling how to solve this question. You are asked to find out what is the last digit. Now check what is 7 power 1. 7 power 1 will be 7. 7 square, it will be 49. 7 cube, which means first 7 power 1 will be ending with 7. 7 square, it will be ending with 9. What is 7 cube? It will be 343, which means it will be ending with 3. And 7 power 4. What is 7 power 4? It will be 2401, which means this will be ending with 1. Okay. Now, if you are getting 1 here, stop it here. Okay. Now, again, 7 power 5, it will be again ending with 7. It will be ending with 7. 7 power 6 will be ending with 9. Again, it goes on, which means the power cycle of 7 will be having 7, 9, 3, and 1. That is, all the powers of 7 will be ending with either a 7, 9, 3, or 1. Okay, now we are having 4 numbers in the power cycle of 7. So, there will be 4 numbers. There will be 4 numbers in the power cycle of, sorry, there will be 4 numbers. So now what you have to do is check what is the power given here. What is the power? 34. So divide the 34 by this 4. So what is the remainder you will be getting? You will be getting a remainder 2. That is 8 into 4 is 32. So the remainder you will be getting is 2. Now check. 7 power 2. What is that number ending with? That number will be ending with a 9. Here we are getting a remainder 2. So we are checking what is 7 square ending with. The 7 square is ending with 9, which means the entire digit, that is the entire number 1, 3, 5, 6, 4, 7 to the power 34 will be ending with the number 9. Is that clear, guys? There is something called as power cycle as well as remainder cycle. So if we are getting a chance to move forward together, I'll be teaching you all those things. Okay. So here we are having the other question. Find the remainder when 7 power 203 is divided by 4. So how will you find it? You are asked to find out the remainder. So what you have to do is you have to again check. Again, few more questions is there, but I think our time is already up. So maybe I told you, as I told you, okay, when if we get a chance to move forward together, we will be learning it all again once more. So if you have any suggestions regarding the class that you have been going through, you cannot say this as a class. We were just talking for 45 minutes, right? If there is any suggestions, you can mention it here. And I guess Nandu was listening. Nandu, are you there?
Shaggy, Jaykrishna is here.
Hmm.
Okay.
So I
Thanks, Shaggy. Fine. So, students, actually, I want your response for this. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എന്ത് തോന്നുന്നു ഇപ്പം നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഈ ഒരു സെഷൻ അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്ത് നിങ്ങൾ ഇതുവരെ ചിലപ്പം ആപ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഡിൻ്റെ നിങ്ങൾ ചിലർ നോക്കിയിട്ടുള്ളവരുണ്ടാവാം, അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളവരുണ്ടാവാം. എന്ത് തോന്നുന്നു? ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ളൊരു സ്പീഡി മെത്തേഡ് വഴി നിങ്ങൾക്ക് പഠിക്കുന്നതാണോ, ഇത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഹെൽപ്ഫുൾ ആകും എന്ന് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് തോന്നുന്നുണ്ടോ? എനിക്ക് നിങ്ങളുടെ റെസ്പോൺസ് വേണം പ്ലീസ്. ഈ ഒരു കാര്യമെങ്കിലും റെസ്പോൺസ്.
Guys, actually your placement trainer has given you a link there. Okay, you can fill it later, but in 2 minutes or 1 minute time, can you just give me a short response?
ആരുമില്ല, എല്ലാവരും പോയോ?
Guys, can you hear me?
You are audible, Shaggy.
Yes. So Ashwin, just give some response. Yeah. I don't want to give you I don't want you people to give an essay about the class. Just in a few words, if you can mention, that will be great. Joel, yes, I in the beginning it was said this demo class. Okay, if you're satisfied with the class, we will be moving forward together where the PPT and the material will be shared to you if you want. That's it. Thank you, Anaga. Ramya, Joel, Dishma, Fatima. See, the number of people who have joined is 46. At least I want 40 people's response. Guys, did you face any problems with the language? If you want, I can take the class in English or in Malayalam or English, whatever you want, okay? Yeah, I know topic wise session will be very helpful. I know, but this since it was a demonstration, I have picked some questions from few topics. That's it. When we start our class, we will be going it session wise. Tahsin. No, English is good. Thank you, Joel. So we will continue in the same language. Thank you, Anup, Deepthi, Jesse, Sahanas. Jay Krishnan, so what can we do? Can we leave or a subjects are there?
Hello. I was just waiting for the concluding part.
Okay.
Uh, Shaggy, are we done
So,
with the presentation so
Yes,
that
we are done with the
Yeah.
presentation. Yes.
Okay, and what about the feedback forms, the students? I hope everyone filled that feedback form which was shared by Sir Abhijit sir. Students, guys, are you done with these?
students, please fill in the feedback form that is being shared in the chat box before you leave the session.
Yeah, we started the session with around 55 people. Now it's 39, excluding us. Maybe it will be like 35.
So, thank you, Shahi, for your wonderful presentation. It was very useful, actually. We learned some shortcuts to do certain problems, especially when it comes to the questions from on this TCS NQT. Thank you, the entire team of Progressive, for making this session very useful to the students. We shall wind up the session for this.
Okay,
Sir,
sir.
principals,
Thank you, sir.
excuse me, our principal sir is available. Sir,
Okay.
sir has left.
Okay. Anyway,
Sir has left the meeting. Sir was available in between for some time, but sir has
Okay.
left the meeting. But on behalf of our principal and the entire management of Ahilya, I thank the progressive team for presenting this particular topic, and the questions that you have shared with us will be very useful. The feedback of the students will be collected today. Based upon the
Okay.
feedback of the students, we can proceed with conducting regular sessions according to what we have discussed over phone. So thank
sure.
you very much. Thank you all the students for spending your time and coming for the session. And if you have any comments regarding the program, if you have any other ideas that you would like to share with us, you can share it either in the feedback form or in our general group or wherever it is possible. You can get in touch with me or the principal and share your information. Share with what is that changes that you would like to have in any of this kind of programs. So thank you, dear students, for being with us. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. Thank you all.
We as a
If you
team also,
if you
thank you,
like
sir.
to,
Thank you
you
for the
can send
opportunity.
messages, chat box. I think the trainer will be available for some more time. You can use the chat box to communicate anything you would like to with her. And I've seen some of you thanking her. You can give her any other message or any feedback or anything that you want, because it is the feedback that can make these programs improve, make us less make our programs errorless, more accurate. So you can give us your frank and the real feedback, what you feel about the program, and wish you all the best. And I hope that you can keep preparing for your exams also. So TCS exams are coming ahead. So I wish you all the best. Keep preparing for the exams. If you have anything that you want to clarify, you can ask it. So thank you, dear students. We shall stop this session if there is nothing more. If you would like to communicate anything also to the team progressive available here, Jai Krishnan, I would like to do one thing. Once the feedback of the students is completed, I will share that feedback with you.
Okay, sir.
So that
Okay.
you can also have a look at what the students are saying about the session.
Sure, sir.
So thank you, everybody. Thank you all. We can wind up, I think.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, students. Bye.